Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. We are bringing back a goodie for this one, folks. We are bringing back a goodie. Early off in the season, there would be a weekly segment here on the Ben Daniel Podcast where we would go into the similarities between the WNBA and the WWE. Folks, here we are, February 15th, and it seems as if some are starting to come around to the idea that the WNBA has been covered, has been treated like WWE, AEW, professional wrestling. I'm not even going to talk about this past season. I have to say for the last 27 years, but it seems like now many people are starting to get hip to that idea. Oh, wait, this is weird. Are there any reporters out here? Are there any real journalists out here? Is there anybody that actually covers the league? Or are we just handing out credentials to superfans? Are we just handing out credentials to fanatics at this point? And one of the more respected actual journalists and reporters in the WNBA space, Annie Costabile, she finally just had to put it all out on Front Street and say, what's going on here? What is actually going on here? And it is because she does her job. She is a reporter for the Chicago Sky. And unfortunately, she is not as biased as Chicago Sky fans would like, right? She is not as one-sided in her thought process as Chicago Sky fans would prefer. And it seems this past day, yesterday, yes, they come to a head. They have come to a head. Now, if you guys have followed the channel, this has been push and pull, back and forth all season long. Annie would talk about the Sky. They would hate the word that she used. She used probably and not maybe. How dare she? Petty like that. like that. She would say that the Chicago Sky, they don't really have anything attractive other than Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. Sounds like the truth, but for some reason, Chicago Sky fans are just angry at hearing it come from one of their own reporters. It is what it is. One of the Chicago Sky faithful over here on Twitter says, I need Annie out of Chicago immediately. She's so weird. So, as we all would say, what's going on? What happened? Why are we angry at the Chicago Sky B reporter? What's going on? Okay, here we go. Look at how she frames this question, y'all. She's so negative, and she does this shit all the time. Okay, what are we getting ready for? What are we getting ready for?
Told me previously was that it was the honesty from Jeff that really sold you on the Sky. You liked his transparency and his honesty with you. I'm curious, what his sell was that really sold you, especially when considering, this was a team that did not succeed last year. They struggled a lot, and there was a lot of transition coming into this new year. What about that seemed like a good thing to sign up for?
I mean, I'm used to transition. I've played.
Let's hear that again. Let's hear that again. I don't want to cast aspersions.
Told me previously was that it was the honesty from Jeff that really sold you on the Sky. You liked his transparency and his honesty with you. I'm curious, what his sell was that really sold you, especially when considering, this was a team that did not succeed last year. They struggled a lot, and there was a lot of transition coming into this new year. What about that seemed like a good thing to sign up for?
That is the clip that set it all off. That is what Annie said that has Chicago Sky fans frustrated. And then Annie responds, should I start charging rent for the way I stay on y'all's nerves? And this is the tweet that gets us to where we're at now. We'll never understand folks expecting reporters to act like stans. And he responds, I think it's because there are a lot of stans posing as reporters in the women's sports space. And that is where we get to the title of today's video. The WNBA is professional wrestling. If you guys are new, we've touched on this a few times. Only in WWE, only in professional wrestling, AEW, TNA, I don't even know if ECW is still around. I don't even think ECW is still around. TNA, NWA, right? NWA, they're still doing their thing. Fans cover wrestling, folks. Yeah, of course, ESPN will send somebody down, right? Right? Just like the Chicago Sky. Hey, Andy, get down. No, I'm playing. ESPN, all right, they'll send somebody down for WrestleMania or whatever. Yahoo will send somebody down for SummerSlam. But by and large, the people that cover professional wrestling are the super fans, are the ultra fans, right? Whether it's podcasts, except for Busted Open Radio, that's Bubba Dudley. He does a great thing with Sirius XM and Bubba Radio. Whether it's podcasts, right? You have JD from New York. That's my guy. I love JD. If you guys can't tell, you got Salamonster. You got Denise Salcedo. You got Dave Meltzer, right? You have all these different outlets that follow wrestling and cover wrestling on YouTube, but it's mostly just fans that have a deep knowledge in wrestling or have a deep understanding of wrestling, whatever the case may be. That's what the WNBA has been up to this point. Up until Caitlin Clark arriving, the WNBA has just been a bunch of super fans covering the league, talking about their favorite team. So when a real reporter comes around like Annie and starts actually covering their team unbiasedly through the lens of a reporter or through the lens of a journalist, they have an issue with that. Because they've been so used to Superfan 97723 being the voice of the team. They're so used to Chicago Sky Lover 5959 being the voice of the team. It's not like that anymore, right? With Caitlin Clark's arrival comes new eyeballs, and professionalism needs to be in the league. So as much as Chicago Sky fans might not like a reporter like Annie, she is doing her job, calling it down the middle. I wasn't around for the Indiana Fever dim years. I'm sure the Indiana Fever journalists, reporters, the Pat Boylans of the world, the Scott Agneses of the world, I'm sure they were calling a spade and saying, the Indiana Fever aren't very good right now. What are they going to do to improve? Hey, Erica Wheeler, you signed with Indiana. What about Indiana made you want to come here? They weren't really too good last year. I want to hope that the Indiana Fever reporters, based on what I've seen, have that type of integrity. Right? Now we continue along this journey of just super fan that gets into it with Lauren Betts' mom. This goes to the premise of the video. The WNBA is professional wrestling. The people that covered this league, by and large, 97% have just been super fans. Have been people on Twitter that have large followings. Have been people on Instagram, TikTok that have just large followings. I'm not a reporter. I'm not a journalist. I don't pass myself off as such. I don't act as such. I'm a schmo. I'm a schmo that turns on my camera, turns on my mic, and I come and we shoot the shit. Am I right? Am I right? Okay. We have Ms. B. Shout out to Ms. B. Ms. B. Interesting no calls in the fourth, right? This is Lauren Betts' mother. And then we have Taylor J say, girl, Lauren Betts, tell your mom to get the F off Twitter crying like this. If you guys recall, Taylor J is the super fan Seattle Storm journalist that broke the Jewel Lloyd story. You understand? This is like an Adam Schefter coming on Twitter talking about Jaden Daniels' mom. This is like Dan Orlovsky coming on Twitter talking about Jalen Hurts' mom. Do you understand why this league hasn't been taken seriously? Because people like this get credentialed. People like this get the voice. Lonnie, she's a fan. She doesn't pass herself off as a reporter, this, that, and third. She's a fan. If I'm a fan, I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. So I join in. When the Yankees do wrong, I join in on trashing Aaron Boone. I join in on trashing Brian Cashman. That's the type of fan I am. But that's just me. Right? The Lakers, Jeannie Buss. Lakers, she's destroyed the Lakers. It is what it is. A bubble championship. You want me to throw a parade? No, they didn't even throw a parade. That's my point. You get it now? That's the type of fan I am. I want my team's feet held to the fire at all times. I want the sports media to call it 100% at all times. You think if Angel Reese missing her layups translated to a New York Knicks player missing layups like that, they'd be as cutthroat? No, they wouldn't be. But they're not like that with the New York Liberty. That's my point. Ask yourself why, and then we won't have this conversation anymore. But we have girl, Lauren Betts. Tell your mom to get the F off Twitter crying like this. And of course, a back and forth ensued between Lauren Betts' mother and this super fan reporter journalist that's credentialed or was credentialed by the Seattle Storm because she's a super fan on Twitter. This league isn't serious. Again. We need to call up Vince McMahon. I don't know what Vince McMahon's doing. Just get Vince McMahon. He'll write a better storyline than what we're currently getting. My daughter isn't on Twitter much. I'm good. Thank you sincerely for your concern. And thank you for yours. Go to referee school if you have an issue with the officiating. Otherwise, pipe down and know your place as a student-athlete's parent. This is a super fan reporter for the Seattle Storm that broke the Jewel Lloyd story. Again, this is who's been covering this league for X amount of time. I want to, at least since the social media era. Is that fair? That's no bueno. The league's never going to grow. No disrespect to Taylor J. Until you separate yourself from being a reporter and a super fan, just be a super fan. Don't be a reporter. And if you're going to be a reporter, don't go back and forth with people's moms. I can do that. I'm a schmo with a camera. You as a reporter, no. And guess what? If I ever get credentialed and I do that, I'm not going to walk up to XY person's mom and say this, that, and the third. Because I would have to be, here's the crazy word, folks, professional. Seems like there aren't many professional reporters or journalists in the WNBA space. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. We will see you next time. And as always, take it easy.